There's a freaking monsoon outside my house, dude. I hope you're chill with some background ambience this time. Hoping my house doesn't fall down on me right now. But there are 3 huge decisions that you are going to have to make in your life as a young man that are going to change the entire course of your life, the entire path that you go down. Whenever I was in college, I was focused directly on what was right in front of me. So I was focused on the good grades. I was focused on getting the friend groups that I wanted, which is great in the moment. But when I graduated, I was like a month out of college with a marketing degree, still working at a Subway, because I wasn't focused on the next step, because I hadn't made these 3 life-changing decisions. And if you want to see success in your life, and if you want to have a newfound confidence that you can walk around with knowing this is your life path, if you are tired of feeling directionless and meaningless, you have to sit down and think about this. The most important thing that you can do right now is free up time and headspace to be able to think about these big decisions. Because this isn't going to be a today thing. It's not going to be a tomorrow thing. It's probably going to take you maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, maybe even a year. Because these are big decisions and things that you have to figure out. And these decisions are going to change too over time, but you need to figure out what right now you want to devote yourself to, what right now you want. The first huge thing you have to decide is what you want to do with your life is going to be the majority of your life. You want to make sure you freaking nail it. And how do you actually know what you want to do? Well, there are things that everyone is uniquely and personally gifted with. And that's not because everyone, this isn't some woo-woo bullshit. I'm literally saying because of the way that you are built, your nature, and the way that nurture has happened, the way that you were brought up, because of nature and nurture, you have specific things that you are good at, that you naturally find that come easy to you. Look at the things that feel like play to you, that look like work to others. So for me, like, I love playing instruments and singing and making music. It feels like play to me when a lot of the time that practice and that working on songs is like work to others. Same with making YouTube videos. Like, I love just giving advice. I love being on camera and condensing thoughts from books that I'm really excited to read into videos for other people to consume. Like, this shit feels fun to me. This feels like play. And because of that, who the fuck is my competition, man? If it feels like a grind for you to write out this YouTube script, to practice these things, to do this thing that you're pursuing right now, every time you are going to be beat out by the person who it feels like it's so easy. It's just play. So you have to find the things you are naturally curious about, naturally gifted at, and you have to follow there and meet in the middle of a line between what you're naturally curious about, what you're gifted at, and what society needs. That's what you need to focus on. That's what you need to work on. That's how you are going to find your what. Because you are going to find a lot more success by trying to hone your strengths than by trying to bring up any weaknesses. So getting very good at a specific few things rather than trying to be a generalist. And this is super important to decide because, like I said, this is going to be most of your life, but also this is how you find your main sense of fulfillment. Like, being fulfilled in life, a lot of it comes from finding a work, a hobby, a passion that you can put everything into and feel like you're changing something with, feel like you are generally good at, and that you are giving value to society and to other people with. Like, even for selfish reasons, that makes you feel good. The next huge thing that you have to decide is where. And this depends a lot on what, but where you are decides your opportunities, the things that will come your way. Right now, I'm not in a great where because I am in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, trying to pursue music. So I am having a tough time right now because I don't naturally find those connections. I don't naturally have those things coming at me that would be good opportunities. I have to go out of my way more to find those opportunities. I have to drive to the nearest city or go out of my way to try and meet these people rather than it just happening organically. Moving to Nashville for me is going to be a much better option because people are just going to be coming in who are doing music. I'm naturally going to be exposed to people who are doing what I'm doing and having these thoughts all around me of like success and how to find what I want in the industry I want to go into. These things are naturally going to come to me, and they're naturally going to come to you whenever you decide this is where I need to be to make this happen. On top of that, you want to know what kind of life you want to live. So like living out in the boonies is going to give you more opportunities and different things that you can do rather than living in a city. This is also true of city to city. There's a reason I'm choosing to move to Nashville rather than move to Portland. Different cities have different opportunities. The last thing, and probably the most important, is who. So you have to decide who you want to spend your time with, doing what with, where. So your circle has a huge effect on your mindset, your time, and your motivation. But on top of that, traits of these people just rub off on you because you spend so much time around them. So these people are going to be rubbing off on you. So you want to spend your time with the people who you want to be more like. And you don't always have to spend, I think it's a really dumb idea that you always have to spend your time with people who are quote unquote valuable. Like this is some business self-improvement book type of thing that is pretty shit, because like sometimes you just want to hang around people because they're cool, because they're funny, because they're fun to be around. And that's okay. You don't always have to be learning something from someone. You can just have a dude who you have a good time with. That's great. There's also this huge thing that like you have to drop off all your old friends once you get on self-improvement. Don't do that, bro. Your old friends are still cool. Just make sure that you can still pursue what you want to pursue while still having your old friends too. And make new friends. Make new friends who are also into the same kind of stuff that you're into. But you have to choose your friends wisely. Even more than that, you have to choose your partner wisely. I would say this is the most important social relationship you have, because who are you spending more time with than your partner? Literally nobody. If you want a partner right now, you have to make sure that they are supportive, that there is mutual respect there. Because if you don't both respect each other, and if they aren't supportive of whatever you are doing, you are naturally going to start feeling worse about yourself. You're naturally going to start feeling like you're going to start having doubts of thinking, can I actually do this? And that's not where you want to be at, because the first step to any success is just having self-belief. And if someone is killing your self-belief, they're going to be killing your success too. The next thing is you want to make sure that this relationship is interdependent. There are lots of couples you see who are dependent, and you already know that you don't want to be like them, because you can tell like if anything ever were to happen, or if they were ever like mad at each other, all the rest of everything else in their life would fall apart, because they're so dependent on each other, because they're dependent on what the other person thinks of them. Whenever their partner's in a bad mood, their life is bad. And that's not the kind of up and down life that you want to be living. You want to have your worth coming from somewhere else that isn't your partner. And there's this movement now of having people who are independent from their partner. So they don't really share their feelings. They aren't super attached and close and connected. And I don't believe in this either. There has to be a happy medium between the two, which is interdependence. Loving interdependence. So you are both two independent people, right? Who come together and lean on each other every so often. And if one person were to drop off, if one person were to say, hey, I'm not feeling it anymore, yeah, it would suck, but you'd be like, okay, I get that. That's cool. You're your own person. You have to be able to know that you are going to be okay, even if your partner is not there. You have to talk to people. You have to have other people in your life than just your partner. But you also have to rely on them and be able to lean back and forth to a degree. You have to have this healthy interdependence. And this has to be built on similar values and honesty and trust, because if your values are too far apart, your relationship is built on lust and not trust. Bars, bro. But you don't want that either, because eventually you guys are going to start butting heads, and it's going to happen often enough that it starts tearing the relationship apart. So you have to make sure this person is someone who you have respect for, who has similar values to you. The last thing I want to talk about is when actually making these decisions. So if you can't decide, the answer is no. As humans, we grew up in tribes of around 150, so we are biologically hardwired not to realize all of the options that we have. Because there are so many people out there. There's so many friends you can have. There's so many romantic relationships you can have. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I know, and you are now going to know, that a lot of other people out there don't have any clue about. Careers are the exact same way. With the internet has come the the expansion of careers. You can get extremely specific, extremely niche into what you want to do. And that's why I'm arguing that you need to find what you are personally uniquely gifted at. Because you can use that to really narrow down. You don't have to just be a bricklayer. You don't just have to be a carpenter. You can now go specifically, nichely into what you want to do. So I not only do music, but I also do YouTube. And on top of doing that, on top of being self-improvement and music, I also throw my own Luke personality into every video that I do, because that's what makes my stuff stand out. Because with the internet, you have such a huge audience, such a huge amount of people that you can reach, that you can be on the tail end, that you can be extremely niche and narrowed down. And that's how you find success, is by finding the people who vibe with you and exactly with what you are doing. And with these decisions, you are never going to be absolutely certain. You're not. That's not how it works. But you are going to be pretty certain about most things. So only really make that leap on that huge decision whenever you are pretty certain. Because if you're not, the answer is no. There's too many options. We live in an abundance of amazing things around us, and there's too many ways that you can take your life that would make you so happy that you can't choose one that's just mid. I don't want a midlife for you, bro. You can do a lot better than that. Making these decisions is going to give you a path, a confidence, a clarity that you can now walk around with, because you now know what you want out of life. So make the space to decide and act now and become unstoppable.